How is the Windows performance on the Steam Deck? This is what we're going to be talking about today, so let's go ahead and jump into it. Make sure to hit like, comment, subscribe. So today we're diving into the most versatile handheld gaming setups out there. This is my modded LCD Steam Deck, and it doesn't just have Windows on it. It's actually triple booted with just Windows 10, Steam OS, and Batocera. This thing has been modded inside and out. I've done both hardware mods and software mods tuning to get the best performance possible and to get the most out of this Steam Deck. So whether you're into AAA PC games, retro emulation, or just want the flexibility of Windows, this build does it all. Let's get into it. Let's start with SteamOS. Of course, this is Valve's Linux-based operating system, which is designed specifically for the Steam Deck. Of course, it gives great battery life, instant suspend and resume animations, and a console-like UI for the entire Steam library. Performance-wise, most games run here thanks to Proton, even a lot of Windows-only games. But when we start diving into games like Warzone, Fortnite, Valorant, Call of Duty, there's no support because of the anti-cheat not designed to run on a Linux-based operating system. That's when Windows comes in. Now next, we got Windows 10, and this is where things get interesting. Windows opens the door to anything the deck can't do normally. So you get access to the Game Pass, Epic Games Store, Battle.net, Discord, OBS, and of course if you're into Adobe and their apps, you can do those as well. But most importantly, anti-cheat games work. Fortnite, I was able to get between 40 to 50 frames per second. Call of Duty, depending on which one you're playing with. If we talking about the new Black Ops 6, it's going to be somewhere between 40 and 45 frames per second. On MW3, I was able to get somewhere around 50 to 55, sometimes even 60 depending on the map. But of course, there are some downsides with Windows. Battery life, it takes a hit. Not gonna cap to you. You may want to have a charger sometimes depending on the game you're playing. If it's Call of Duty, yeah, it's gonna take a hit real bad. 2, you're gonna have to install the drivers manually. Everything doesn't come when you install Windows on the SSD or even on a partition. You're gonna have to install the drivers manually. And the suspend resume isn't seamless just like on SteamOS. Like you can press the power button, it'll suspend it, and then you can press the power button again, it'll come right back on in SteamOS, and you can resume what you're doing. On Windows, it's different. I do want to mention there are tools and tweaks that you can use to make Windows act more like SteamOS. But the thing is, if you start bothering with those types of tools and you play games like Call of Duty or Fortnite that has a anti-cheat system in it, then you can risk getting banned from it. So that's why I don't use any other tools. Like, I just have Windows installed, the drivers that's necessary to run properly, and I play the games that I want to play on it. Other than that, Windows runs fine on this thing. As you can see, I'm able to scroll up and down. The touch sensitivity works just nicely. There's no lag or anything like that. It works good. Last but not least, Batocera. If you're into retro gaming or emulation, this is where the deck turns into a time machine. Batocera is like a Linux-based OS, but just built for emulation. No setup headaches, no Windows block. Out of the box, it supports PlayStation 1, 2, and even 3, GameCube, and Wii with Dolphin, Sega Saturn, Sega Dreamcast, Xbox, Xbox 360, Nintendo DS, 3DS, Switch. Switch is a little bit on the maybe side now because of what Nintendo's been doing lately when it comes to all the emulation support. Game Boy, SNES, Genesis, and many more. And yes, you can use Bluetooth controllers, or of course you can use the controller that's built in on the Steam Deck. It's seamless. Now another thing I wanted to talk about is why even go through all this trouble with the triple boot. It's simple. Versatility. You're not locked into one ecosystem. If I want to play SteamOS or just want to use the seamless UI of Steam Deck, then I just go into the SteamOS and play the games that I want to play on there. Windows gives me full PC flexibility. I'm able to play Call of Duty, Fortnite, any game that has an anti-cheat system on there, I'm able to put it on there and play the game. And Battlesera, that's plug and play. Like Retro Paradise. I have plenty of PS1, PS2, PS3 games on there. You can see it on the video. Game Boy, Wii. The Wii remotes work on it as well. So you can actually do that. And I do want to mention that on yellowplace.store, you can have your Steam Deck completely customized just like mine's here. I do that on my website for you guys. Of course, it does cost. You can go on there and see the prices if you are interested in that. Or I can build you a Steam Deck if you don't have one, and I will completely customize it just like mine as well as the exterior. I do shell swaps. I install Windows. I install Battlesera. It can just be on the SD card. I have SteamOS, Windows 10 on my SSD, which is the hard drive, and I have Battlesera on a 512 SD card. Now, this modded LCD Steam Deck of mine may not be the OLED model, the OLED, but with these upgrades and a triple boot setup, it's doing more than Valve ever intended. If you're into emulation, Windows gaming, or just maximizing what this hardware can do, setting up triple boot is 100% worth it. If you want a full tutorial on how to install all three OSs or want help optimizing Windows for the deck, let me know in the comments. Like if this inspired your next mod. Subscribe if you love handheld content, and I'll catch you in the next one.